talked about it a couple of years ago, the school wants naloxone as it's the reversal medication for opiate overdose. Many schools now have it in-house. It can be administered by a layperson, but it certainly could be administered by a nurse. But I think it's a separate topic for conversation or something for the policy committee to think about separately. But otherwise, I have no.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are now on to the administrator's report.
Right down the line.
Go down the line?
Yeah. Okay, Mary.
Okay, well, we started in full swing with our annual reviews. We're having 7 to 10 meetings every Tuesdays, on Tuesdays and Thursdays until the end of the year. So it's been a real challenge because I've been inundated with all the FOIL and FERC requests that we're getting from families, and it's just been a real challenge trying to manage all of that on top of all the endless days upon days of meetings with attorneys dealing with all our pending litigation. So that is consuming. The legal aspect is consuming 99% of my time here, where I'm having to work almost 5 days a week because of that. So that's all I have to report, because it's all litigations.
Thank you.
I had collected some data late this week and I wanted to share it with you. So sorry for the late notice of that. What I'm sharing with you is just our 7-year opt-out rate, and the reason for state tests. And the reason I went 7 years is it kind of goes back to when it all started, and kind of you can see where we are today. As most of you know, the state is now putting a metric into the system of how they help hold schools accountable, where they take your scores and multiply by the number or percentage of students who participate within the state testing. So if you have half your kids participating, whatever your scores are going to be half multiplied by 50%. So taking a look at how we did this year, we showed really good improvement. The 2019, 88% of the students in elementary participated in the ELA testing, and 62% of the middle school and high school, for an overall 3A combined 75%, which is up considerably from the prior year. In fact, it's up now for the last 3 years. So we're seeing an upward trend, and a pretty big bump this year of our kids taking the exam. Very noticeable. I kind of attribute that to 4 things. One, the state has kind of taken away the state test that directly links to teachers and PPR. You'll see over in the far right-hand column, the last couple of years, there's been no PPR attachment to the state test. So that's helped for some. For this year in particular, because we had such a bump, there were a few things. Mr. Dowsell and I presented it at a PTO meeting. We had that filmed and then put it on the web so parents could make a real informed decision. So that was one of the things that we did. We also changed the wording of the letters that went home to parents. In the past, the letters kind of were like, you know, if you're going to opt out your child, here's how you do it. We just took it all out. We didn't put anything, whether you want to opt in or opt out. And just put a note in there to please attend the PTO meeting or view the video. So parents, it didn't say this is how you opt out. So we didn't really, now we still had opt-outs and they knew how to do that from the past. But I think probably the biggest thing that changed the numbers this year were the personal conversations that we had with families, with parents who had opted out in the past and were considering doing it again and wanted to set up a meeting. I had 3 parents that came in and actually sat in my office and had an extended conversation about the testing, and they walked out and they said, well, you know what, I think I'll have my child take the test this year. So I think those personal conversations were really important. And now that we got our numbers to where we're 75%, I think those are going forward. That's going to be our biggest way of getting our numbers up to what the state is asking of us, which is 95%. So we had really good improvement.
And again, I've done this before, but I want to do it again. I want to thank the PTO for its
Yeah,
help,
give it a
and I
second.
want to thank the staff and faculty.
Yeah.
There was a different approach this year, so I want to thank everyone. I believe that APPR has now changed. I believe the governor has signed the legislation. Test scores will no longer be tied to teachers' evaluations, so this is something that we'll be working very soon with HTA advisory and how we might go forward and really strive for that 95. I'm still pushing. I'd love to see our district get 95% next year. We have the math test coming up 2 weeks,
Yeah.
a week after this.
Next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
And again, anything the adults in the room can do to help us have children come in and take math. The big barrier to coming in and participating has been removed by the students. So thanks again.
Just another piece of data too for you. This is the time of year we'll start looking at class numbers, especially in our pre-K and K, because that's really the health of our future for HCS. Our pre-K numbers are strong this year, and that's reflective of the burst that happened 4 years ago. We had a very high percentage of bursts that year. When our pre-K deadline, I say quote deadline, because you can register your kid. We always have deadlines for people to get them in. We had 36, which was our max. We've had 2 registered since that are now on wait list. So 38 students wishing to come to pre-K next year. We have room for 36 because of the pre-K guidelines. We can't have any more than 36. They fund most of our pre-Ks. Our kindergarten numbers are healthy too. After a really low pre-K last year where we had started the year with 24, we have 35 kindergartners registered for next year. So, and the deadline for kindergarten registration is until May 1st, so a little ways to go. I expect to have a few more between now and then. So those are good healthy numbers for kindergarten. With the class that was as low in pre-K as we've ever had. So that's good. Invite anyone, character education summit tomorrow. We're celebrating kindness, which was our last character word, and our new character word, which is hope and optimism, which is a new word for that. Be interested to see how that goes. Lots of things planned for that.
What time's that?
That's at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Public's welcome to come. Any of our character summit, just checking it from. And then we have next Friday is our One School, One Book announcement. So in the elementary, all of the teachers, students, parents, community members that wish to participate can receive a book. PTO, thank you for that. That was huge. You won't know what it is because there's an unveiling that will happen. We've got lots of clues, which PTO has been very helpful in putting around the schools, so kids are getting anxious about what the title might be. They're getting pretty close to the guesses, I think. We'll unveil that next Friday. It'll be a really good community event.
What time's that?
I want to say it's nothing later. This one's like 9:45.
Jennifer's planning, she'll get me.
Great shoot. 9 a.m. Yeah.
On the 3rd.
Yeah, 9 a.m. on Friday the 3rd. Yeah, and we're public open to that as well.
Will you send out an email blast?
Sure.
When it's official?
Absolutely. Yeah, we need to, we'll be putting something out shortly to let the community members know if they participate and we'll help them to do that.
Good.
So, yeah, thanks.
So really good news. Our school report card, this is the first year that we're based on the new ESSA accountability measures. That was embargoed released last week. And we have made good standing in every accountability measure through ESSA, which is terrific for us. So once that has become unembargoed, we'll share that with the board, we'll share that publicly. But preliminary is that we're in good standing for all of our ESSA accountability measures, so that's excellent for us. Continuing this discussion on safety. We talked about the front desk webinar that we ordered. It finally came. All of the personnel that has responsibility for covering the front desk have now reviewed that. We're going to meet tomorrow and discuss and kind of plan about, what was in that webinar and things that we can now institute here as far as front desk security. I shared with you our results from our student survey, some really good data in here that will inform some internal discussions going forward about the perceptions of our students as far as school safety. Whether they feel safe at school, whether they feel safe in the lunchroom, whether there's harassment, intimidation at school. Some really good data, and thanks to Chris for putting this in a very visual format for us. So that's for you to look at, and that'll drive conversations going forward.
And remind me, this is 6 through 12?
That's 6 through 12, yes. Yep. So I'll leave that with you to review. On Friday, we have our Sandy Hook assembly. Mark Barden, who is the dad of Daniel Barden, who was one of the first graders that was killed in the Sandy Hook tragedy, will be here speaking to our 6th through 12th grade students. That'll be the kickoff to our Sandy Hook Promise program, which is a program based on school prevention, school violence and school prevention, coming up with a common language, warning signs that will start. Our middle school student council is going to kick it off within the middle school, and then we're going to progress it up into the high school student council. So that'll be Friday at 1 o'clock is the assembly. It'll last an hour. And then we're having the kids go back to their cell 9 class and debrief with teachers in small group settings. And the teachers were given a menu of discussion topics that they can use, or just talk to kids about the assembly, what they saw, what they heard, just a chance to debrief. I shared with you a letter and a brochure that was sent home, and an email blast to all the families, just outlining the program and what to expect on Friday. So it should be a very, very powerful kickoff to our Say Something program. That's it on safety. We're going to continue with our emergency drills in the spring. We have some more emergency drills that we need to conduct, so we'll be doing those upcoming. And then switching gears athletically, we have had discussions about bringing girls soccer back to Hamilton, which has been a goal of ours for a number of years now. And thanks to the good work of Coach Freeth building up our modified program, those girls are now ready to progress up into the varsity level. And we're going to bring back, hopefully, the tentative plans to bring back our soccer here away from Morrisville. And Morrisville, thank you to Morrisville. I'd like to publicly thank them for accepting our kids for the last couple of years and really making them feel part of their program. Coach LeBlanc has been terrific to our kids and to our family, and Morrisville's been a gracious host, so I'd like to publicly thank them. But we're excited to be able to host our program back here. We have 18 girls signed up, which is awesome. So Thursday night, I'm going to have an informative meeting with parents just to get a firm commitment before we move forward with uniform ordering, with scheduling, with appointing a coach. You know, it's easy for the kids to say, yes, I want to do this, but we have to have a firm commitment from the parents before we finalize this program moving forward. So that's the goal and that's the plan. So that's exciting for our girls soccer program to be able to field the varsity team back here. So we'll be discussing schedule, alignments, commitment, uniforms, coaching, all of that with the parents, and then I'll be coming to the board with a proposal after that meeting, once we have a firm commitment. So that's exciting.
So I was just going to say, part of that also probably needs to have a good look at that field. It's needed to attend for a long time.
Yep, we need some field maintenance. Yes, we do. Yep.
All right, if you're going to have two varsity teams out there.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's my report.
Nothing really earth-shattering for me. Just been working really closely with teachers and administrators. I can report that the Smart Schools, the State's Committee Smart Schools, met again.
Who does his team look when he tells us?
We met again on the 15th of this month, and they approved a few schools, but they were not us. May, if their trend continues and they meet again on the 15th, May 15th will mark 18 months, which Mr. Punzo assures me is a magic number where they're going to give us our money.
I've been wrong before, but I'm guardedly, cautiously optimistic that on May 15th, we will get our award.
Okay. Me too. But we are prepared to hit the ground running, all the plans are in place.
I'm sorry, you didn't hear
Ready
me
to go.
decide. And I'll still be here to see it.
Thank good.
We're good. We're all good. We're sorry.
That's really it for me.
Chris, I just want to say, you said having doing much other than supported teachers, and I can't tell you how important that is. I hear it from all the teachers all the time, just how incredibly helpful you've been, and what a difference it makes in the classroom that they have that kind of support. So you may just think of it as like, well, I got these other responsibilities, but that's been critical. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
I think the big part for me, other than interjecting jocularly here, the strategic plan continues to be worked on. I know that there was a big part of the strategic plan to talk about trying to determine our turnover, who's leaving our district. Those documents have been through quite a review, and we have some questionnaires that have been sent to some Colgate people to look at, to see if they get at what we're looking to achieve. That's a part of it. I know Chris continues to upgrade, he's working with Matt to continue to upgrade our equipment, which is a part of the strategic plan. I think this questionnaire was in your area, I think, Bill. Mary, I'm not sure where we're at. Kevin, I don't know if you want to interject anything, but it just seems to be we're doing things on a day-to-day basis. In June, I think we are scheduled for each of us to give a full report to the board, to the public. So,
Yeah, project-based learning. is-
Project-based learning is like the big
Last
step.
week in July, 30 teachers will be trained by Magnified Learning. Big piece.
So it's ongoing, you just keep implementing it. So we're on track.
Good, thank you for that. I'm glad that everybody's still plugging away on that. It's one of those things that could get brushed away very easily, and we in the community know how important it is, and I'm glad that it's still something that's hitting everybody's day-to-day in our busy world that we don't have. 7.3 is the budget dates and notice. May 14th is the budget hearing at 6 p.m. We have a program which I didn't have written down, so if you don't, May 14th at 6 p.m. We'll have a meeting that night. May 21st is the budget vote and school board elections vote. From noon to 8 p.m. in the bus garage. And May 21st is also our regular Board of Education meeting for that month, and it will be held at 6 o'clock here in the LGI. Steering team updates.
Shut down, just one other thing.
Yes.
The 16th, Thursday, May 16th, will be our senior citizens breakfast here in the cafeteria.
What time?
I believe it's 8:30. I'm not suggesting any of the board members would qualify as senior citizens. You're certainly welcome.
Your superintendent does. I'm going to have breakfast.
But it's a nice event. The Honor Society students serve the guests, and there's some kids provide entertainment. Not sure what that is yet. Really entertainment.
Band, chorus, orchestra.
It's nice. We can stop by. It's great.
Good. Steering team updates. The elementary steering committee hasn't met since our last meeting, as this meeting is short, so there's no update there. Next.
We haven't met for, the middle school, high school hasn't met, but we did have an activity that took place. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So right before break, we had our connectivity activity and forum. And there was a forum activity where the kids were put in groups and they had to come up with things in common. And thank you to Heather Geralou for coming up with our prizes, which was ice cream, either an ice cream sundae, free ice cream sundae, or a homework pass. So the groups got together and they had a very short time to kind of talk amongst themselves. They were randomly selected, 6 or 12, put in groups, and they had conversations about things they had in common. And they came up with the things, and then the following day, they were the greatest things they had in common. I can't remember off the top of my head what the winning group was that they had in common. It was like it was kind of wacky. It was fun though. So it was, go ahead. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
They like crack their toes without like touching.
Oh, yeah, without.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Was that the main one? Yep.
They all have black hats with green eyes. That was another one.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're-
My kids told me that there was one group that all didn't like country music.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah. So this was our trial to see how it would work, and then we're going to use this as an opening day activity next year, the opening day of school, to do kind of the same type of thing as an icebreaker and to bring kids together. So I wasn't able to be here. I was at a legal seminar. So Victoria, I want to thank Victoria Seeger, Victoria Motes, and Mark for kind of organizing this and taking the lead role in forum. So thank you. It was fun.
Thanks.
Just this one.
PTO update? Jensen, do you have the PTO update? I'm looking at you because you're the one here from PTO.
Just excited about our One School, One Book initiative, and revealing that is really exciting. It's really hard to keep it a secret.
What is it? What's the name of it?
But it's been fun preparing, and just to give a public shout out to Tori Quality, who has really helped a ton behind the scenes. And I know she's so busy in so many other things, so just to give her a shout out there and just kind of trying to wrap up the end of the year.
Great. And how was there was a garden cleanup? Yes? How did that go? Did people?
I'm not sure, I haven't talked to Amy since.
Not too many?
Amy was there, and I didn't know, they were there all day on Monday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, it looks good.
Good.
It really does. Yeah. Actually, they have a little helper there.
Well, great. That's huge, and Amy does put a ton of time into that, so
Yeah.
hats off to her for making the entrance to our school a real priority, which is great. Emerald Foundation.
The Emerald Foundation is meeting right now at the same time as we are, so I'm not there.
You're not?
No.
Oh.
I do know that Heather might be able to add as well. I do know that the Emerald Foundation had graciously granted money for the masters to have a workshop when the Kentucky Shakespeare was in town. And that money, a good portion of that money was not used, so Donna Moran submitted, and I believe that it's been approved, that money is going to be reused to help support a summer, is it the Palace? The Palace,
So the one Brandy's doing?
yeah, to support Winnie. I'm sorry, I'm babbling because I didn't write it down. But the Palace is doing an enrichment program for children, acting, stage acting, and so that foundation money is going to benefit our kids in a different way than the Kentucky Shakespeare.
Great.
It's awesome.
And they just continue to, teachers have to submit grants because they're great about saying yes.
And I think anyone who doesn't know what the grants do, we should be having a grant presentation coming up by the teachers and anyone who's been affected by the grants and scholarships. I believe end of May.
It's usually May or June.
But I think that's the best time to see what the Emerald Foundation does and what all the teachers do, because it's not easy to write a grant and to pull everything together. But they do a great job, and it's what makes Hamilton so special. And also giving these kids an opportunity who might not have the opportunity to do things like go on trips and have certain equipment. So I think that's a great way to see that. So we welcome everyone when we get the date squared away.
Thank you. The budget newsletter article. We sent a couple of things for review. I've had some changes sent directly to me. Anybody that hasn't sent anything have any questions or concerns? There's two more changes from Debbie and from Pete.
There was one simple typo that I sent you the first time and it was still there when I read it the second time. Now I can't remember what it was.
Okay. All right, are we in the right spot?
I just, the part, there's this short paragraph about the changes, right, that just has a brief sentence. This includes an administrative restructuring and small reduction in staffing achieved through attrition. Seems kind of underselling what happened with our budget. It seems like we've made a lot more significant changes, and as you know, I feel, especially with regard to Latin, right, like, there's nothing in there about that. I think that's a significant thing that people should know. Right, that we've had some hurdle, it's a hurdle that we had to, it was a tough decision that our administrators had to make, and it's a big loss for a lot of people.
So do you have changes for me for?
I think saying, just putting in there, right, that some, we're losing the Latin program, that's part of the, we were unable to, I can send you some exact wording.
That's what I was hoping we'd have for this, so that we can, Debbie
Oh,
needs
do we need to
this.
approve it, or?
Well, Debbie needs it like
Very
Thursday.
latest.
So.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be board approved, I
No.
just need the letter by
Okay.
Friday, the final letter.
Yeah, I'll send you a sentence to put in there.
Okay. That'd be perfect. So I'll just put a star there. And Harry gave me more changes because there's always edits.
I think, for me, I think the thing that I keep sort of stumbling on is the very last line of the first paragraph, to present to you a tax, it's tax, shouldn't it say tax cap compliant? As opposed to tax compliant?
Oh, yes, it
It should say tax cap compliant. I keep stumbling on that one.
Found it.
I think that's the one that I sent you once.
Yeah, but then Harry had different changes too, so I was.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Okay. All right, so we will work on those changes and go from there.
Yeah, I'm going to take these and then tomorrow, Debbie, we'll put it in a Word document, we'll incorporate the changes, and we can send it to Michelle to give it the final thumbs up, and
We'll go from there.
that work for the rest of the board, we go that way. And then Corey's going to get us some wording. This is it.
Yeah.
So let me know.
Thank you for all working on that, and we can get that to Debbie hopefully before Friday. School board evaluation discussion. This is continued from last month when we started our conversation. We went through the idea of needing to start to work on the school board evaluation. We're picking dates. Sorry, I gotta grab it. Picking dates to move forward so that we don't lose it in coming meetings next year. One of the things that I had considered and was hoping we could talk about quickly was the fact of trying to maybe just add a half hour in the beginning of every one of our meetings to talk about the evaluation instead of picking another date. So meeting would start at 6. The first agenda item would be the school board evaluation. And therefore, we don't have extra days unless we need them, and we can always add more days onto the calendar if needed. But this would allow us to continue and make sure that it's upfront and present in our mind, but help us with our calendaring. I'm looking up at Jen too, to make you part of it slightly. What do people think about that as a starting point for dates? We obviously don't have dates on the calendar yet for next year, but if we were to continue with Thursdays at 6, the general meeting would start at 6:30. We can announce that it would be part of the agenda. The first portion of the meeting would be about the evaluation.
I think that has a separate date, too.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So Debbie and I will remember as we get to the reorg meeting to make sure that that's a piece of that. And then there was another piece of it about, there it is. We wanted to get a couple of us to start thinking about something. Sorry, I thought I had it.
It's too long on my stuff, so I got it.
Anyways, we can focus on that when I figure it out. Sorry about
But I
that.
mean, was it about, we talked about creating a subcommittee sort of in June. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah.
Or is that not?
Yeah, that was it. Push could find it.
And then a retreat
Yeah,
in May with Bill,
Yeah.
and then another retreat once we have the new board.
So Bill, did you start some ideas for a retreat for us between now and June 30th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thoughts on dates that we should all check on our calendars?
Yep, let me go to it.
Okay. The purpose of the retreat, Bill and I talked quickly, would be for him to get some understanding of what this current board's expectation of Bill moving into the superintendency would be, what this current board's thoughts are on where we are with the strategic plan, where we should go moving forward, where this current board feels things are and should go. The meeting that we would have in July, August would then be the new board and what pieces, those same types of questions, but with the new board. And that would allow Bill the ability to have past and present and be able to focus and move forward in that sense. Does that give you enough time, Bill?
Yep.
Okay.
Wednesday, May 22nd?
Everybody have a calendar? Can we look at it?
Doesn't work. Okay,
The 22nd through the 24th are the only days that I'm not.
okay. We then can go the first week in June.
June 5th?
Yes, Ellen, Tuesdays are not good for you?
Tuesdays are okay, actually.
Okay.
Tuesdays are just like any other day now. That
So we can
changed.
do Tuesday the 4th or Wednesday the 5th,
What times are you talking about?
6 to 8.
The 5th is already a PTO meeting at 6:30.
Okay,
But that.
4th?
But we were talking about rescheduling that one, because I think it's also, is that the night of the athletic banquet, I think, as well?
Athletic banquet got moved because of the Liz
Okay, we were moving
confirmation.
PTO meeting because of athletic banquet.
So the 4th is?
The 4th works, the 4th works,
Okay.
yeah. The 5th isn't ideal. I can make it work with the
All right,
4th.
so the 4th from 6 to 8
Yep.
will be the board, board retreat with Bill. Good? And I'll pull together the information on the subcommittee and email you guys all and figure stuff out on that when I remember what we're discussing. I don't remember.
I mean, all I have down was subcommittee in June to create broad strokes for the plan. I think was.
So we might want to wait till after this meeting anyway. Okay.
That's what I have.
And then, Ellen, you're up for 7.9, a discussion on the school climate workshop that you did.
Before we do, may I ask a question? You talked about doing a board evaluation